At 15, I was lost in high school, making $11 an hour working at McDonald's. At 17, I dropped out of high school, and I just turned 18 2 weeks ago. I made over $33,000, and I didn't want to make this video just talk about money and numbers. I want to talk about the behind the scenes, the mindset, what it took for me to get there, mindset-wise, financially, mentally, and most importantly, why I actually started in the first place. Everything started back when I was 14, 15 years old, and I felt like I lost my identity. As crazy as that sounds, I felt like I lost my life at 14 or 15. I was dedicated to my lifelong sport of baseball from age 0 to 15 years old. Baseball was my life. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to go pro. So when I was 14 in high school, so when I was a freshman, I actually left school, taking online classes to go to the Dominican Republic and focus on going to an academy over there that would teach me to get even better and surround myself around the best players and coaches. I took that step knowing that, or believing that I was not going to go back to the US until I was actually at the top, and I became successful. I got a contract. I'm in the leagues, and I'm able to take care of the people that mean the most to me, like my family. 2-3 months in of me being over there, training day in, day out, early mornings, 4 a.m. practices, late nights until 8 p.m., I actually ended up injuring my back, which took me out completely of the sport that all I knew. Like, when I looked at myself in the mirror, all I saw was a baseball player. Nothing else but a baseball player, and a successful one eventually. So when I hurt my back and I was told from doctors and coaches that that's really the end of it, it completely crushed me, my goals, my mental health. That was the bottom of my life. Always being known as a baseball player. Again, like when people knew my name, it was my name, baseball. My name, baseball. That's all you knew me for. So the moment I lost that, I didn't know who I was. I felt like so just stuck. The worst part was having to go back to the US and going there feeling humiliated, knowing that I'm seeing the same people, same situation, and nothing changed over the last few months. So I'm feeling worthless at this point. That I got back to the US, I didn't end up accomplishing my goals with being an MLB player. And really, I felt like I lost it all. I felt lost. I had nothing to do. I didn't know what to do with my life at that point. So yeah, I'm back in school. I'm still a freshman, kind of going back to where I left off, and kind of just going through the motions, feeling stuck for a few weeks, not knowing what to do. But at some point, I knew I had to, let's get out of this way of thinking. Let's jump into something. And the biggest reason why I wanted to be an MLB player, I love the sport, one, but I knew from seeing all my favorite players, they're able to live the life that they want for themselves. Financially, they have everything to themselves. They had everything. So the only other way that I could see myself being able to have a similar lifestyle to them, except not through baseball, was just making money to somewhere else. I didn't know how, but I knew I needed to make money somewhere. So now I'm in school, like I said, and now I need to figure something out to make money. So my first thing is getting a job. One night we actually went to a McDonald's, me and my brothers, to just get food. It was late night. They were actually hiring, and I ended up applying for a job right there and then, not really thinking much of it, just kind of saying, you know what, I said I needed money. I said I was going to do something. I went to apply at McDonald's. That same day when I asked for the form for the McDonald's job, the manager actually pulled me aside and interviewed me right there and then and gave me the job. They were so in need of employees that they just took me on. Actually, she had thought I was a lot older than I was at the time, but I was only 14 trying to get a job at McDonald's, and they were hiring. That's when they hired at 14. So I think it was about $11 an hour that they were hiring for. I got the job, and I said, you know what, this is not my long-term play in any means, but it can get me somewhere. It can give me some money in my pocket, some experience, doing something, and there I go. Even just within the first month of me working there, I knew that this cannot be the way that I see myself long term. Even though I knew from the beginning, it gave me even more fire because I saw people that were working there for years, 10, 15, 20 years plus, and they're just stuck individuals. And this is exactly why I even want to help more people, is seeing people just like them, stuck in this job that they don't actually even enjoy. While I'm there, I'm figuring out how can I go on and start working towards something that's a lot greater than just this job, but so I can start taking care of the people that mean to me, right? The people that I care for, my parents, my mom, my dad, my siblings. So seeing a lot of entrepreneurs online, like all these social media stars, for me, that was like, okay, let's see what they're doing. How can I just replicate what they're doing? Because nothing about them is different than myself. So then I started, the algorithm catches on to you. You're seeing all the online business models, whether it was drop shipping, Amazon, TikTok, what was affiliate marketing, everything in the books. And I tried finding what would fit me best. The sexiest one at the time was dropshipping. I found it super cool. All these influencers just showed their their phones with their Shopify notifications, payments coming through. It looked amazing. I said, I want a piece of that. Let me get into it. So right there and then, that was when I ended up looking for courses. I found this free course online. They teach you from everything from A through Z on how to build a successful dropshipping store. I built the store. I found the product. It was this cheap product from China that it was like a 5-way charger where you could put your Apple Watch, your AirPods, you could put your phone, like everything. It charged everything at once. It had a light and had a lamp and a timer, everything. And I tried launching that product through my dropshipping store, not really knowing what I was doing, but I tried to follow the course that I had, and I launched it. I got a few viewers on my first time launching it, some viewers on my store, but no sales. Because my expectation going into it was going to be easy. Get rich quick, put a product out there, you make money. That's what I was told from social media. I believed in it. I did this product, I found it, I put it all together with, I think it was like all these manufacturers, and I thought I was doing something. I got no sales, and because I expected it to be so easy, I got no sales, and I ended up giving up because the expectation was wrong. So, mind you, I'm still in high school. I'm working at McDonald's. I'm just trying to figure something out. So while I'm still working at McDonald's, I'm trying to find other opportunities since dropshipping did not work. Since I really didn't give it too much of a go, but it didn't work for me in my mind. While I'm trying to make dropshipping still kind of work, I'm looking into other business models, and this ad comes across my page, my Instagram page. And the ad is this frat kid with an influencer, and this frat kid is making 10, 15K a month from his dorm, online money through like remote sales, which I'll get into what I actually do in a different video. But in the grand scheme of things, it was remote sales. You take sales calls online and you close deals for these big online influencers that are out there in the market. And you close like their programs and mentorships, you get a commission. And I saw this ad. I said, this kid's a college kid. Like, what about him is different than even myself? Like, I'm in high school. Sure, maybe time's a little different, but let's see what it is about. They're offering like this free webinar to watch, and they're gonna explain the whole business model from A through Z. I jumped on that webinar, and I was blown away. It was an hour straight. My dopamine, everything was just going through the roof. I was pumped. My adrenaline was rushing. I said, this is what I need to do. However, when you get to the end of the webinar, that's when they pitch you on their course, their program. That course was about, I think it was $1,500 or $2,000 for the course. I was at McDonald's though. I had $300 to my name. There is no way I was gonna come up with $1,500 maybe in a few months. And I wanted it now. I was so hungry to make something work now. I had to try to find a way to do it. So I guess they did the same webinar again the following day, and I had my brother watch it with me that second time, and he also thought it was super cool. Now again, it was the same pitch at the end, $15,000 to $2,000 for the program, which again, I didn't have the money. So I had to bite the bullet and asking my parents to help me. I had $300 to my name. I said, you know what, I'm willing to put $300, and they had these payment plans where you could start with $600 and like pay it off as you go. So I had $300, and I asked my mom for the other $300. I was super scared. Not because they were gonna say no. They always gave me everything I want. I didn't come from a background where like I can say I came from the ground and I'm trying to make it out. Like no, I definitely came from a nice home. My parents did give me everything I wanted growing up, which I'm always grateful for. Now, it was just the whole idea of like what this online money. What am I doing? Am I getting scammed? And I really didn't know. Didn't even care. I just wanted to know I was trying something, because that's what even any of you guys watching this. It's like yes, there's always the ifs. There's always the buts. There's always like the what if. But like, if you don't try, you don't know. So like, you gotta at some point stop sitting on the sidelines and just jump into something. Because if you do sit on the sidelines, then you're always gonna live that life of like regret. What if I did that? What if I did this? And it's kind of like it kills you at the end of the day. So then I ended up asking my mom for the other $300 to cover the first installment. She gave it to me, and I joined the program that same night, and I was pumped. I didn't lose the tab of the program. I kept the tab open because they had a timer that said that it was going to close down. So I left the tab open to make sure I wouldn't lose it. I paid the $600, and I was through the roof. So during that point, then I'm in this course. So this is February 2023. February 10th, 2023 is exactly the day I bought my first online course to make money online. And I was putting my all into it. I was showing up. I was in school, working on my homework while still focusing on this, while still working at McDonald's, just kind of doing it all, trying to put it together. Eventually, So in this opportunity, like I said, I'll get into it in another video, but in this opportunity, you basically need to find jobs with online influencers. It usually takes people months to find a job. It took me only it only took me 1 month to find a job. So I found a job with this online influencer for me to work with, close deals for, get commission off of like these online products. And from there, I was going all in on that one product, on that one business owner, that one mentorship that I was closing for and working with. I actually ended up leaving McDonald's also to go all in on this job that I got. Now, even that, I had to tell my parents I'm going to leave my job. I put like a leave of absence to just say that I wasn't going to fully leave, but I ended up putting in my leave of absence, which I never ended up coming back. And from that point, I was focusing on the online business. I was working on the skill set. I was working on the sales, and I was on this job. This job actually, within the first year in 2023, it brought me from zero to my first 5K a month. This first job, that was huge for me. Making 5K, I was at the time, well, beginning of 2023, I was 14. June of that year, I turned 15. So at the end, I made my first 5K month at 15 years old. And that just gave me the sense of I can make 5K off of one person within a few months. Imagine what I can do if I wasn't in school and I had more availability, more free time on my hands. So at that point, I started to question all more what ifs. What if I left school and I can maybe make double? I can make 10, 15, 20K a month. My goal was always 10K because that was the classic 10K. I remember, so I made my first 5K all the way into, I was working with this first company all the way until the end of 2023. Beginning of 2024 came around. I worked with a few other companies. And during this time, I was making maybe, like I said, 4 or 5K a month while still in high school. I remember though, the only thing that was on my mind during this time was what if I left school and I was able to do double the income because I wouldn't have my whole day of school to kind of focus on. On a daily basis, I'd come home and complain to my brother and ask him, or just tell him like, what do you think if I left school? Like, I'd probably make 2 times the money, 3 times the money. And I always said it as if like I was looking for validation from him, like just tell me to do it, but I didn't want to own up to it. And I would constantly tell him on a daily basis. I told him for at least a couple weeks straight that I wanted to leave school. I'm sick and tired of this. Like I can make so much more money if I just go all in into just online business without any school. I don't need school. And they're in that era. That was when like Andrew Tate was making content and it was getting all like the young guys like myself like super amped up. So I just had that belief of like, I don't need school. I can make money online. I already made 5K. This is all I need. Like I said, I kept bothering my brother, bothering him until he got super annoyed and just said, just drop out of school. Just leave school. Like, you know what you want to do. Who knows how it's going to go, but just take that leap of faith and jump all in. And I was kind of shocked that he even would tell me to do that in the first place because, like, he's my older brother, telling me to drop out of school. Like, I was only 15, turning 16 during that time. But he ended up telling me to do that, and I had to have that tough conversation with my parents. They were not maybe the most on board, but I eventually had to kind of get it out of them to let me do it because I put it into the perspective of, I'm just not bought into school. I don't believe in school. I don't believe in the system. I don't believe that this... Unfortunately, the way I saw it was if my teachers were the ones teaching me, they were not where I wanted to be in life. Logically, it did not make sense for me to feel like I had to learn from these people. So when I dropped out of school, I was getting... During this whole time while I was in school, I was always telling people what I was doing online, trying to make money. I tried making content. I got a lot of, like, I guess, negative talk on it. Everybody wasn't super supportive of it because it sounded like a fake online, like, scam, and most people just thought I was just blowing smoke. But I believed in myself. I knew that was going to come with the process of people kind of not believing in me or saying that it was false and none of this stuff would work online. So I said whatever. I kept focusing on it. Like I said, I ended up just dropping out of school, and that was April 2024. During that same time, I actually ended up working with this company that was one of the most known companies in the space. This company worked with all type of influencers. I don't want to say any names, but these influencers had hundreds, if not millions of followers on Instagram, and I was able to work with them hand to hand. And that same month, April 2024, I joined this company around, it was like the 13th or 14th of the month. That month, I was working 12, 14 plus hour days. And that same month I dropped out of school, I made my first 10K a month online. It was the craziest feeling, 10K. I finally hit the number. And obviously at that point, I was just even more hungry to do more from there. So there I go, finally hitting my first 10K month. And I knew that I could do more. So I kept pushing. I kept pushing that same offer. Again, this was easily the offer that completely changed the game for me. I was able to produce 15, 20K months following that offer all the way until 2024. So that was just mind blowing, from leaving school to making my first 10K month. Following that month in May, I did 15K, and then June again, I did 15K, and then July of 2024 was my first 20K month. Then here in 2025, kept it pretty consistent, and this month alone, I did $33,000. Now, this month was huge for me because I turned 18, June 19th, I turned 18. I bought my first Rolex before I turned 18, so I think it was a week before I turned, or it wasn't a week, it was I think the 10th, around like the 10th, it was the 10th of June, I got my first Rolex, and then I turned 18, I made $33,000 in June, so it was just a huge month overall. Now that month showed a lot to me. It was huge for me, but more mental in terms of, after I made that money, I didn't actually feel through the roof in terms of, again, of the money. I just being able to take care of my mom, my sister, the people that I really care for is what it brought light to me. And that kind of brings me to the beginning of what I mentioned as to why I actually started, right? Was the people that I care for. The reason I'm able to show up every single day and complete crushes, I come from a household, like I said, where I didn't come from where I can say the ground. I didn't come from a place where we were barely putting food on the table, and I thank God and thank my parents for always taking care of me and my siblings. But it was, my biggest inspirations are my parents. My parents were immigrants from the Dominican Republic, from Mexico, and they came here to the U.S. and they had me and my two other brothers, so three boys total at the beginning before my sister came in, and them just working their asses off, showing up, not having anything in their order. They came from not very, not always having food on the table. Kind of came from tougher spots than definitely where me and my siblings came from. Looking at my dad, looking at my mom, seeing them build a successful business here in the U.S., coming here again with nothing to them, I started to question. It's like, what about them makes them any different than me? And they just had this huge hunger behind being successful and giving their kids a life that they did not have. And now I'm able to show up because I know that their story, and now it's time for me to give back to them. And I am now working so hard in online business, showing up day to day, even when I'm tired, because I know the job's not done. I need to take care of my parents. I need to give them the life that they deserve after giving me and my siblings the life that we have now. Now, not only my parents, but also my sister. My sister's only 9 years old, and she has a whole bunch ahead of her. She still has middle school. She even has elementary. She has high school coming up, and all these other things going for her. And if my goal now is to be able to take care of those people that I care for, my mom, my sister. And I'll say it more and more again, like that's why I ultimately do this. So now moving forward for me, it's not just about being able to, again, like, yes, I'm still not fully where I want to be. This video isn't to talk about, oh, I made it and I'm at the top of the mountain. I'm still working. Yes, last month I made, let's say, $33,000. My goal is to get to 100K, 200K, 1 million a month is where I want to get to at one point. But I'm only going to push so hard because I know that it's the people that I'm doing this for. And now, kind of to reverse it back into this whole video, it's like, also people like just like yourself, if you're watching this and you know you're worth a lot more, you know that you have people counting on you, your mom, your dad, your siblings, the people that you care for. The one piece of advice I have to say to you is you have to stop being so cautious in your decisions, because you're ultimately impacting the people that matter to you most. For example, if I never left school, if I never decided to bite the bullet, I would not be in a position where I am today, where I can start taking care of the people that I care for. So yes, the steps are scary. Yes, you may hear so many people hating, telling you why you should not do something, why you should do it, hearing all the extra noises. Always remember why you start something or why you may do something. So now for me, the vision moving forward really is being able to be the light for others. One thing one of my mentors recently told me, which completely was huge and kind of changed my perspective on things, was be the person you wish you had when you first started. So for example, myself, when I first started at 14, 15, be the ideal person that could have helped me get to where I am now a lot quicker. So that's the same thing for you. For any of you guys watching this, is Not only am I going to be documenting this journey to show the wins, the losses, the ups and the downs, and not just sell you on hype, because there's so much hype right now in the market, showing you all what's good and what's bad. Actually, no, only showing you what's good and not showing you what's the bad side of it. And as much as that's not the fun part to talk about, it's what you need to see in order to actually push forward and not give up so easy on yourself. So for me now, if I can even help one of you guys watching this video, I don't care if I get, first, I don't care if I get 5 views and I only get 1 help. Even if I get 10 million views on this post, only one person at least can take this piece of content, can watch this video and say, I'm gonna move the needle forward, I'm gonna change my life. I did my job and I am happy. Now I wanna help hundreds and millions of people. However, if at least one of you guys can take action, that'd be amazing. Because at the end of the day, this is, again, impacting you and the people that you care for. If this video hit you and you resonate with it in any way, and you know that you have so much more in the tank, you know you're worthy, you just don't know exactly how to get there, what to do to get there, and really fulfill on what you have in mind, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I'm more than happy to go back and forth and give you some guidance on where to go best from here. Again, you don't have to do what I personally did with online business. I don't really care. I just care that you do something, whether it's what I did or whether it's what the person 10 blocks down did. It does not matter. Just do something, because you are costing yourself so much just by sitting there on the sidelines and watching other people live the life that you deserve. So subscribe to follow the journey. Again, I hope somebody gained some value from this. If you did, great. If you didn't, well, hopefully you do soon. Or if you just don't like it, that's completely fine. I respect it. But like I said, message me on Instagram if you have questions, if you want some guidance, and I'm more than happy to help any of you guys who reach out. Guys, peace.